Good morning, students. Today we are going to learn the chapter Plant Nutrition, and today's topic is opening and closing of stomata, mechanism of stomatal opening and closing. Mechanism of stomatal opening and closing. The first mechanism is known as starch-sugar hypothesis. Lloyd, Doftified and Sire observed that starch content of guard cells is high in dark and low in light. This is unlike the other epidermal cells and mesophyll cells where opposite effect is observed. It is also noted that a high pH favors opening and a low pH the closure of stomata. In the carbon dioxide concentration of guard cells and neighboring cells is lowered, being consumed in photosynthesis, hence the increase in pH. In the dark, carbon dioxide of respiration accumulates in the guard cells, hence there is fall in pH of the guard cells. A high pH favors conversion of starch into osmotically active reducing sugars, resulting in an increase of turgor in the guard cells and stomata open. The reverse reaction occurs when pH is lowered. The enzyme phosphorylase present in the chloroplast catalyzes this reaction in the presence of inorganic phosphate, starch plus inorganic phosphate. The enzyme phosphorylase, the pH is 7. It is converted into glucose 1-phosphate, and glucose 1-phosphate, the pH of phosphorylase enzyme is 5. It is converted into starch and inorganic phosphate. Stewart in 1964 criticized the above scheme and pointed out that unless glucose 1-phosphate was further converted to glucose and inorganic phosphate, no appreciable change in osmotic potential can be obtained. Inorganic phosphate on the left side of the above equation is just as osmotically active as glucose 1-phosphate on the right. At high pH, starch is converted to glucose in the following way to make the stomatal opening. Starch is converted into glucose 1-phosphate with the help of enzyme phosphorylase and phosphoglucomatase. Glucose 1-phosphate with phosphatase enzyme, it is converted into glucose 6-phosphate, and glucose 6-phosphate is converted into glucose and inorganic phosphate. The closing of stomata requires metabolic energy in the form of ATP. With the help of ATP and in the presence of oxygen, the enzyme hexokinase converts glucose to glucose 1-phosphate. The latter is then converted to starch. There are several drawbacks of the starch hydrolysis theory. For instance, the increase of the osmotic potential of the guard cells during stomatal opening cannot be explained by the formation of glucose from starch in its entirety. It also does not account for the extra effectiveness of blue light during the opening of stomata. In some plants, there is no starch present in guard cells, for example, Allium species. Interconversion of starch sugar is very slow and does not satisfactorily explain the quick stomatal movement or responses to water levels. Main objectives against this theory is many stomatal cells do not have starch glucose conversion. Example, onion has fructosan. Many monocots do not have starch in guard cells. Stomata open more rapidly in light. Second number of theory is glycolic acid hypothesis. Jelic in 1963 has proposed that glycolic acid plays an important role in stomatal opening. He has suggested the formation of carbohydrates from glycolic acid, thus increasing the osmotic value. The general assumption is that adenosine triphosphate produces in this mechanism furnishes the required energy needed for the opening and closing of stomata. It is believed that energy possibly participates in the active pumping of water into the guard cells. The main objections against this theory is the speculative nature of the role of energy in pumping of water. During light, guard cells in the process of photosynthesis, CO2 concentration reduced in guard cells. So decarboxylation of organic acid happens and increases of guard cells pH. Then hydrolysis of starch and increase in sugar concentration. Guard cells decreases. Water enters through osmosis and stomata get open. Now in this way, synthesis of glycolate, then oxidation of glycolate, oxidation of NADH, ATP synthesis, ATP activated potassium pump, and potassium moves in guard cells. Now guard cells decreases, the water enters through osmosis and stomata get open. Several recent studies have demonstrated the occurrence of ATP and glycolate in the guard cells through photosynthesis. Studies on Ramadas and Raghavendra in 1976 using inhibitors of photosystem first and photosystem second, that means pigment system first and pigment system second, have provided unequivocal support to this viewpoint. Their studies have further revealed that in vivo the process of photophosphorylation possibly satisfies the energy requirements for stomatal movements. Thus, the dependency of light for the opening of stomata lay in the energy metabolism rather than in carbon metabolism. using isolated epidermal strips of Commelia bengalensis. It was shown that the opening of stomata in light was under the control of cyclic photophosphorylation. When the inhibitors of cyclic photophosphorylation were added to the epidermal strips, stomata closed rapidly, while the inhibitors of non-cyclic photophosphorylation did not influence the stomatal aperture. Similarly, the catalysts of the cyclic and not the non-cyclic photophosphorylation promoted stomatal opening. Further, the involvement of adenosine triphosphate in the enhancement of stomatal opening in the presence of potassium was also confirmed through the addition of the inhibitors like 2,4-dinitrophenol, which cause the closure of the stomata. On the other hand, the addition of HCO3 ions in the medium caused the closure of stomata. Fourth number of theory, adenosine triphosphate is also produced during respiration for the dark opening of stomata. Recent studies have also demonstrated that stomatal movement was also regulated by the hormones. For instance, the stomata were opened by the cytokinins either directly or by functioning as metabolic sinks. On the other hand, several inhibitors like abscisic acid cause their closure. It may also be mentioned that abscisic acid functions in the presence of carbon dioxide only. In fact, abscisic acid was produced in the leaf cells under stress conditions and antagonizes the cytokinin action. This inhibitor is also shown to change the diffusion and permeability of the guard cells. In this way, potassium influx is inhibited. Thus, potassium from guard cells passes into the epidermal and subsidiary cells, and the guard cells collapse, resulting in the closure of the stomata. In this, efflux of hydrogen ions is also avoided. In the guard cells of acidity is raised or pH becomes acidic or low. Similar situation prevails with the excessive carbon dioxide. It is well accepted that low pH and excessive organic acids stimulates starch synthesis. Raschke in 1979 has proposed a scheme based on interaction of the feedback and feed-forward pathways. According to him, stomatal movement can be considered manifestations of a central system optimizing gas exchange and employing feedback and feed-forward methods of control. So this is feedback and feed-forward methods. During light and humidity wind, feed forward the stomatal conductance, the negative feedback, assimilation, intercellular carbon dioxide concentration, stomatal inductions, and evaporation. And positive feedback path, water content of epidermal and mesophyll cells, negatively the stomatal conductions and evaporations. modern concept based on potassium influx. Guard cells disperse in the epidermal tissue synthesize malate, which contributes to the enhancement of turgor needed for their opening. Guard cells are supposedly heterotrophic since their primary supply of reduced carbon is achieved through photosynthesis within the leaf. Apparently, metabolism of C4 acids in such cells is not directly associated with the reductive pentose phosphate pathways. A large body of evidences has shown that the increase in solutes of the guard cells during stomatal opening is attributed to the enhancement of potassium ions concentrations besides chloride and malate. The precise amount of malic acid and chloride, of course, varies with the species as the counter ions to potassium. Osmotic changes within the guard cells regulate the stomatal movement. Thus, with an increase in the solute concentration within guard cells, water moves in from the adjacent cells, resulting in increased turgor in the guard cells. This increase is relative to the adjacent cells and there is opening of stomata. The guard cells, because of unequal thickness of the two walls, bulge out like a blown up balloon. On the contrary, in grasses, increase in osmotic pressure of the guard cells causes the expansion of end of cells resulting in stomatal opening. Guard cells chloroplast contain starch during the day and are degraded at night. Nothing precisely can be said regarding the availability of malate in the stomatal opening through degradation of starch during the day possibly provides phosphoenol pyruvate as a precursor for malate formation via PAPs and MDH. The situation may be compared with malate metabolism during the dark phase of crassulacean acid metabolism. Recent evidences have shown the presence of PAPs in the guard cell and malic acid synthesized via this enzyme would provide protons for counter exchange with potassium arriving from the adjacent subsidiary cells. Under night or dark conditions, the C4 acid possibly decarboxylates and the C3 precursor are metabolized back to starch. However, it may be noted that CO2 released is not racemelated via RPP pathway, as is the case in crassulacean acid metabolism or C4 plants. Mitochondrial respiration possibly provides the required energy for the conversion of pyruvate to starch. Now, stomata closed, that means low turgor pressure, stimulus light, potassium in water is also in, and stomata open, high turgor. The potassium out and water out, high concentration in lip, stimuli desiccation, the stomatas are closed. In some of the cases, well studied, it seems that Malate and aspartate are the primary initial product of carbon dioxide fixation. There is also some thinking that guard cell chloroplasts lack or have very little ribulose biphosphate activity. They may be primarily concerned with the supply of energy rather than RPP pathway, concerned with carbon assimilation. Mansfield in 1990 has proposed that abscisic acid induced increases in cytosolic free calcium ions triggers intercellular processes resulting in closure of stomata. Some evidences point out the role of calmodulin, it is the binding protein, in mediated reactions. Cyclic AMP, the second messenger, has been suggested to play some role in stomatal mechanism. It may remove inhibitory effect of calcium and abscisic acid in guard cells since it enhances stomatal opening. On the contrary, the degradation of CAMP would induce closure of stomata.